Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Steve Van Meter, your new minister. Seems like I've been gone for a month, you know? I mean, it's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since I was able to address you. So, welcome to spring. Yes, someone greeted me with that wonderful, Mayflowers bring, May showers bring Mayflowers. What do Mayflowers bring? Pilgrims. Think about it, the boat, But here we all are pilgrims, on the spiritual realm, right? I mean, we are adventurers, in a new land, this new land of new thought. Spring is the time when God renews the earth and gives us fresh flowers. I love that, You see, you can tell the beautifulness that was laying dormant all winter, and all of a sudden it just boing, ding, hear the birds, and it's like, wow, where have they been? You start warming up, you get all your summer stuff out, and then it rains. But it's a time to clean out our closets. It's a time to clean your garage, spring cleaning, and it's a time to clean out the cobwebs in your mind, from laying dormant and, sleeping in, to getting up early. Wow, I don't know about that. So, renewing your faith, this month is on renewal. It's no accident that the Easter season is in spring. It's geared that way. There are symbols. The egg represents new birth, right? The bunny, right, represents Reese's peanut butter cups. I don't know why I went there. I love the chocolate and peanut butter marriage is my favorite. Yes. But have you ever questioned your faith? We all have. We've all been up against something and we thought we were all up or that we were bigger than this, and something brings us down. Something sits us down, and we go, okay, why do I feel so empty at times? Why do I feel helpless? These are natural things, and this is the time to renew, to go, you know what? This is part of the experience. This is reminding me to move in a different direction. That's all it is. But if we get into it, we can get stuck in it. If we get in a rut with our challenges, we get stuck in there. And they say that a rut is a grave with the ends kicked out. Because we start to think that that's all there is. Why at times do we feel enslaved by the hurts and the depression that comes upon us? And there are some people that suffer with terrible depression that it just is, and if you've ever had that experience, I know I'm the only one, of course, but it feels like there is no way out. And this is why I've come up with ideas to renew my faith, because when I'm in the midst of something, boy, and what I would encourage you, if you are in the midst of something, to get into it. If you're going to be in it, get into it. Experience it, because you don't want to look back and wish that you had really used up that feeling. You don't want to revisit it later, or it revisit you because you haven't fully expressed what's come upon you. It's so important to, wherever you are, to be there completely and to change your mind. That's what renewal is all about. It's changing your mind. So if you're in the midst of something challenging, have a pity party, man. Have a pity party. I mean, really, I'll bring the kegger of pity, because I was definitely had my, I could, you call somebody and, oh, you think that's bad? Oh, let me tell you how bad it can be. That's nothing. I have a tattoo that is better, or I have a scar from my experience. What do you have? We're trying to one-up each other on how bad it can be. You ever been in a conversation like that? They're like, oh, that's nothing compared to what happened to me. Let me tell you what happened to me. And all of a sudden you guys are going, oh, that's not, my friend, you're into it, right? So I have a question for you. What brought you into this teaching? What was it that catapulted you from where you were to where you wanted to be? An event, possibly. Maybe you got fed up with the status quo. It happens. And what I found that there's probably two different ideas that got you into thinking differently. And it's either inspiration or desperation. Well, I was inspired by my desperation. That's what got me into this teaching. What event made you stop and question why you are here? Because that's the question that begins the reality of reawakening. Why am I here? What am I doing? I had this lady, I worked in customer service, and we were disagreeing on some things. I had called a company about something that was supposed to be delivered, and there was some mix-up. You ever been on the phone with somebody and you're just not connecting? Yes. And she asked me, what is your purpose? And I looked at the phone and I was like, whoa, metaphysics right here in my face. I was like, I'm going to have to call you back. Because I had to figure out what is my purpose here? What is my purpose? Why was I having this argument about, I was working at a hospital and it was about, some little, like cotton swabs or something. I'm like, wait a second, this is a big deal to those people that need it. She didn't think it was a big deal, but I did. So I had to call her back and tell her what a big deal my cotton swabs were. So remember that feeling you first had when you were inspired to move in a different direction? That feeling of knowing that at some point, everything is going to be okay. You are going to get through this. You're going to be better for this, but you need to keep walking. You need to begin to pull yourself out of the cobwebs of the challenge. Maybe you haven't figured it all out, but just get yourself away from the energy of being entangled in the, what they call it in quantum physics is the tangled hierarchy, where there's so many possibilities that it clouds the possibility of being all that you can be, and you just don't move. You ever been so afraid or so challenged by something that you just stopped? You couldn't even speak. You barely breathed. Okay, everybody breathe. Okay, I got through it. That's one of the first things you can do whenever you're in a situation is breathe. People say that, breathe. Go ahead, it's good to breathe. Romans 12:2. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The renewing of your mind. Turn it over. Look at it differently. Turn it around. Or as they say, repent. Repent, which means go in a different direction, because that way ain't working. Repent. Turn around. Turn away from what no longer serves you. Not to deny it, but not to give it any more power. If energy flows where our attention goes, what are you thinking? My famous line from my mother, "What were you thinking?" I really wasn't thinking. I just did what I did because I wanted to do it. You must think. Remember a time when you went through a challenge and everything worked out in the end for the best or even better? Like, because of the challenge, you had a new perspective and you were even more enlightened afterwards. Like, I'm so glad that I went through that for the experience of it, and I'm so glad it's over. Because we gain in consciousness. Hopefully we gain in consciousness, because if we don't, we are doomed to repeat it again until we do. This is what I found, at least for my life. If I don't get the message, here it comes. Same song, different verse, a little bit louder, a little bit worse, until I get it. And I'll go, I thought I handled this thing. I thought I dealt with this stuff. Not at this level. Here it comes. So just deal with it. And it'll never be as bad as the first time when it was so foreign to us. How could this happen to me? And I used to ask my mentor, why is this happening to me? And why is it happening now? Because you're you, and because it's now. Get over it. Get on with the renewal of it. So, how has the source energy, God, Christ consciousness, whatever you choose to call it, how has it guided you in your life? How has it guided you to the renewal, the spring of your life? This is the spring, not only in the plane of existence for the earth and us right here, but in our lives right now. Something is showing you a springtime. What is it for you this spring that will be renewed for you? Remember a time when the divine intervened on your behalf, when you were so broken down that you did not know what the hell to do, but something happened. Something beyond explanation came in and brought you the information you needed at the time you needed it, that catapulted you into the fourth dimension. What was it for you? So I've got a couple instructions on renewing your faith. Number one, pray. Pray to renew your faith. Affirm what you do want and draw your attention away from what you don't want. Energy flows where your attention goes. Pray the prayer of divine right action. Pray for an answer. Sometimes all I can do is pray for more prayer because I don't know what to pray for. Praying the prayer of divine right action is always going to hand it over to the infinite, because we don't always know what's best for us, but I have to know that there is a power that does. And as I know that divine right action is introduced into every situation, I can sit back and observe with love. So I have a couple affirmations for you. I restore my faith and feel it now. I restore my faith and I feel it now.
I restore
my faith and feel it now. Yes, let's say that. I restore my faith and feel it now. Now, why don't we say, like tomorrow or something like that? I restore my faith and feel it tomorrow? No, I want it like now. N-O-W. Yeah. If we do it tomorrow never comes, because tomorrow will be saying it tomorrow and you'll push it on down the line. So fake it till you make it. If you don't feel it, that's okay. Pretend you feel it. Pretend. If you were to smile and fake it, fake a smile, which makes you laugh at yourself, and then you're laughing at yourself and you're smiling anyway, so go for it. Here's another one. I remove all the doubt in my mind and heart and replace it with faith. I remove all the doubt in my mind and heart and replace it with faith. Replace it with faith. It's okay to have doubts and fears. It's what passes by. You know, in my meditation, I envision a great river, and I see the ideas floating by like a twig or a leaf on the river and float into my awareness and then float out of sight. And it's gone. And then another twig comes in. And then it's gone. Just let it go. Let it flow, man. Let it go, right? There is still goodness in the world, and I attract it into my life here and now. There is still goodness in the world, and I attract it into my life here and now. I put that still in there because there's a time that I didn't believe. It was like, okay, I do believe. I still believe in that. I never stopped believing in that. I may have had some questions about it. Here's a good one. I still believe in love. I still believe in love. Yes. Whenever you can incorporate love into anything, you are more than halfway there. Because love is the very energy of the universe. It is the glue that holds everything together. If what you do with love, you cannot go wrong. And my favorite. This too is good. This too is God. And I demand to see the blessing in this right here and right now. This too is good. This too is God. And I demand to see the blessing in this right here and right now. Now, what does that say? That puts a demand on the universe, you know. At first, I was a little shaky when I demand. Like something was going to happen right then, lightning. Ching. But we must put a demand on the universe, because when we do, we show that we mean business. And the universe is waiting for you to mean business. If we don't, if we're wishy-washy in our prayer work, we are wishy-washy in our demonstrations. We must know that we know that we know. And that knowingness brings about a knowingness of a demonstration. Number 2, look for ways to help others. If you're in the midst of a challenge and you are at your wit's end, go help someone. Find a way to go and volunteer somewhere. I don't care if a neighbor's porch needs to be swept and the paper's picked up and put in a pile. Whatever it is that you see needs to be done before you in your arena, do it. Serve someone else. Help someone else. Get out of yourself. To forget about whatever you're dealing with, not to deny it again, but get out of it. Get the heck out of your challenge. That's how you jump out of the rut. The minute that you start helping somebody else, you reverse the polarity of a negative experience for yourself, and you start to compile positive energy in your bank. Now, you have to be doing it for the correct reasons. You don't do it to do that. You do it because you genuinely want to help somebody. It's like tithing to try to get money. You don't tithe to try to get money. You tithe because you believe in where it's going, what it's doing, and how it's fulfilling the world, and that automatically comes back to you as energetic. That's why we tithe our time, our talent, our treasure. We give it away, and we create that energy of it coming back. That's how the law spiritually works. If we give because we think that we will be given back in the same way, then we're playing a barter game with the universe. I gave this, so I'm waiting for it to come back. Come on. It doesn't work that way, but we need to understand it in a spiritual manner. And once we do, the whole world reciprocates. Number 3, remember the things you know to be true about God. Read your Science of Mind textbook. Listen to some good music that rocks your world, and you know what I mean. I mean, that gets you up and dancing, or gets you feeling good, out of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Don't get too out of your mind, all right? Take a class, join a study group, get active and do something. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If something changes, everything changes. We must make a change. Number 4, accept the fact that the world can be a challenging place at times. Yeah, isn't that fun? Isn't it great? Just when you thought everything was perfect, something happens. Make that part of the perfection. Go, and this too is perfect. Look how beautiful it is. It can be made easier by putting your trust in what you believe God is to you. Immediately go to your belief system. Immediately go into prayer. The sooner you can go into prayer, the sooner the resolution can happen. I used to have such a lag time between the challenge and the prayer, and I wondered, I'd call a practitioner and they'd say, have you prayed about it? Let me call you back. Let me call you back. Because you can pray about it, but sometimes I need to call a practitioner to remind me that that's what we need to do. The sooner that we go into prayer, the sooner we're part of the solution. Be the solution you seek in the world. If you see something that needs to be done, go do it. Don't just talk about the people who aren't doing it. Well, they should really, be doing that. I'm on to my next thing I think somebody should be doing. No, we need to do it. We need to get in there and do it. Number 5, ask for assistance. Share your challenge with a respected friend or call a practitioner. Everyone struggles at times. This is part of the experience. But don't get stuck there. They will help you to see the vast goodness of God and pray for you as you find your way back. You don't need to walk through your challenges alone. Alone. All one. Alone, all one. Very close. Just throw in another L. Don't go to L on me. All one. We are all one, right? There's only one of us here. What do you believe that is? What is that to you? This is a quote I found from Holmes, which so speaks to these times. I mean, he could have written it yesterday. Many people may be under the mistaken concept that the metaphysical philosophy is attractive to people because it says God is good and everything is all right. Therefore, there is nothing to fear. This is far from the truth. What it says is this: do you wish to be loved? Then stop hating. Do you want to be happy? Then be sure you are never the occasion for unhappiness in others. Thanks. Thanks, Dr. Holmes. Stop hating. We need to stop hating. It's not easy when we turn on the news sometimes to... We need to just let that go. It's not going to get any better if we just get upset about it. We're adding to the challenge. We need to see it rightly. And can we do that? And this is the power of spiritual. This is for you spiritual advanced students, and you know who you are. Let it go. Let it go. And remind yourself what you believe love is. What is the power within the flower that makes it bloom? What is within the bird that knows when it's spring and when to fly, which direction? How does it know? Because it knows it is the divine expressing. And when we're in alignment with that, when we're in alignment with why we're here, we know. We know. So I'd like to share with you one of my favorite statements, and this is "The Moment of My High Resolve" from The Inward Journey by Howard Thurman. Keep fresh before me my moments of high resolve. Despite the dullness and barrenness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance, but I had forgotten. At the time, it was fully orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. There was no intent to betray what seemed so sure at the time. My response was whole, clean, authentic. But little by little, there crept into my life the dust and the grit of the journey. Details, lower-level demands, all kinds of cross-currents. Nothing monumentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant. Just wear and tear. If there had been some direct challenge, a clear-cut issue, I would have fought it to the end and beyond. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, "Keep fresh before me." The moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Again, it's called For the Inward Journey by Howard Thurman. So in conclusion, what brought you into this new awareness? What was it that triggered you to ask, why am I here? And how are you answering that this spring? Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, the renewing of your life, the renewing of everything that makes sense to you. Renew, renew, renew. And so it is. It's time for our healing prayer. So I just invite you to relax into that energy that created you. There is a power that grows the leaf on the tree, that causes the wind to blow and the sun to shine. It puts all the stars in the heavens, aligning them perfectly. It beats our heart and breathes our body, and we are it in form. There is not God and us, there is God as us. We are the divine demonstration and outpicturing of prayer itself. For God prayed each one of us into existence, and here we are. Each one of our lives is an outpicturing of that prayer, and we get to decide how that looks. We get to choose our own favorite color, what we want to be when we grow up. And my friends, love is the result. Love is all that is. And as we turn into that love turns into us. And love is all that is expressed. It may look funny sometimes. But if you look deep enough, love is the common denominator in all things. So as we renew ourselves this spring, as we renew our lives, our bodies, our souls, our spirits, a new awakening is occurring. A new invitation is happening for each one of us, inviting us up to new levels and higher inspiration of consciousness. As we step into that energy, we are supported and uplifted in that love in a way that heals physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We are being healed by the revealing of the truth within each one of our experiences. So look for that truth today. I look for that truth this week. I share that with everyone I meet. And within that, something wonderful is happening. So I give great thanks. Thank you, divine, infinite, loving presence, for this time, this space, this place, and the truckloads of good that are on their way and happening for each one of us in this moment. We may not see it, but we know it's there. So we give thanks in advance, for we are so blessed. And we take full advantage of this day by passing that blessing on that allows this world to express the love that was meant to be. As we affirm this together and release it into that living, loving law of all that is, we affirm it together by saying, and so it is. Amen.